Hi everyone, and welcome back to English for You. I'm Pat.
And I'm Mike.
And we're on day 2 of our TOEIC article. Yesterday, Ross and Rachel were talking about selling their car.
That's right.
At least getting a new one.
That's right. Their kids are growing up, getting bigger. They're having more kids. They need a bigger car. They want to go places with the kids in the car. And that small little car that was great for a while just isn't big enough anymore. I think they were talking about a camping trip or something, right? Not just a little trip to the supermarket or the department store on the weekend. No, going on a road trip with lots of stuff in the back and kids. They need a bigger car. So they were also talking about what to do with the old car.
Exactly.
You don't just throw the old car away like a pair of old running shoes or something like that. There's value in that old car. You can use it to make some money to help buy the new car.
Exactly. So they pretty much have two choices to discuss. Are they going to sell it? So just find somebody who will pay them for the second-hand car.
Okay.
Or trade it in, which is take it to the car dealer that's going to sell them the new one.
Okay.
And say, here, take this off our hands. You can maybe sell it or use the parts, and therefore we will get a lower price for the new car we buy off you. That's what trading it in means.
Absolutely. But of course, if they do that, they're avoiding a lot of the trouble of selling it themselves, but they'll make less money. If they sell it themselves, put their own ad, signs up or ads on the internet or something like that, they'll make more money. But then, of course, they'll have to be the salespeople. They'll have to meet the customers, talk about the car, let people drive it around on a Sunday afternoon. If they don't like it, they have to wait longer. It could take weeks or even months, or they might never sell this car if they do it themselves. But if they do, or they are successful, they'll make a lot more money that way.
Yeah, certainly a modest profit. Ross estimates 10% to 30% profit compared to what they would make just trading it in. And therefore they'll have more money, which helps either they can get a bigger car or just pay less for the kind of car they want.
Right. Now, so after talking about this and, learning more about their options, Rachel, the wife, she agrees that with Ross that they will sell the car themselves to make that little bit of extra money. So Ross decides that now is a good time to write the advertisement, the ad, the little announcement that says, we have a car to sell. This is the kind. This is how much it costs. If you're interested, call this number and talk to Ross. So what we're going to do today is look at this advertisement. Look what he actually wrote and see how he's going to go about telling people about this lovely used car that he has for sale.
All right, let's read through.
Reading. Used car for sale. Placing an ad. I have a used 2010 Toyota Yaris for sale. It has an automatic transmission. I am asking 250,000 NT dollars for it. The color is a nice dark shade of silver, and it has only been driven about 70,000 kilometers. I am the only owner and have taken good care of the car. The car has never been in a crash. The AC works well. The car has great fuel efficiency. It gets around 20 kilometers per liter of gas. The tires were changed 2,000 kilometers ago, so they're basically new. The reason I am selling this car is to buy a new and bigger car for my family. This car is great, but it's just a bit too small for our family needs. It would be perfect for a couple or a single person who needs reliable transportation. This car has never failed me or broken down, so I have high confidence in selling it to you. If interested, call Ross Richardson at 555-420-69.
All right, so the announcement, the advertisement, this notice of sale that Ross has written for his old car, it begins, I have a used 2010 Toyota Yaris for sale. So there you go. Some good basic information. I got a car. I want to sell it. It was made or bought from this year. That's the year of the car. So made probably around the year 2010. So we can look at that, go, oh, it's 10, it's 11 years old, something like that. And it's a Toyota Yaris. So if you're into a big truck, this is not it. If you want a Ferrari sports car, this is not it. But if you want a good small size car, this might be the one for you. It's a Toyota Yaris.
Okay, we also learn it has an automatic transmission.
Okay.
Now we need to look at those words separately, even though they are kind of combined in the meaning here. Something that's automatic works on its own. We pretty much always use it to describe some kind of machine, an electronic device, and basically it's something that's automatic, doesn't need us to press buttons. We don't need to turn it on, turn it off, or make it do stuff. It does it by itself. So, for example, the automatic doors opened when Claire got near. Most, 7-Elevens, department stores, supermarkets, you don't push the door open, they open by themselves. They kind of sense you and go boom, and you walk in without having to touch them. Oh. But here, though, it's an automatic transmission that we have to explain.
The transmission are basically the gears in the car, the things that turn the power coming from the motor, the energy that the motor creates, and how that goes into the wheels. Basically when you make the sound of a car, that's the transmission that you're kind of making the sound of. The gears, as the engine changes and gets more powerful, the gears will change. If you're going up a steep hill in a heavy car, you'll put your transmission in a lower gear. When you're a sports car, an F1 racing car going top speed, you'll probably put it in a very high gear. So basically, we're just controlling the power of the engine and making it work on the wheels that actually move the car in the most efficient way. Sometimes when you're driving one of the older style cars, you actually have to change the gears yourself. That's that sound that you might make when you're pretending to be a car. With automatic transmissions, the car does it for you. So you just put your foot down and go, put your foot down to stop, and the car figures out all that other stuff. The transmission works by itself.
So next in the job ad, Ross writes, I am asking 250,000 NT dollars for it. So that's his starting price. Now, he may be prepared to accept a bit less money, but in that case they'll have to negotiate. Sometimes in an ad like this, you will see phrases like or best offer or nearest offer, ONO, OBO, and that means this is the sort of top price. I might be willing to go under, but if you want to pay me more, I'll take the more. But this is kind of the area of money. This isn't an exact price, 250,000 or nothing. He's probably willing to negotiate, but people will have to talk to him about it first.
All right, so now we know a little bit about the car. Let's learn more about sort of what it looks like and also how long or how much it's been used. It's been used before in 10 years. The color, it says, is a nice dark shade of silver.
Okay.
All right, so now we know what the color of the car is, and it has only been driven about 70,000 kilometers. Okay, so that's not too bad. 70,000 kilometers. That's how far that they've driven the car, and assuming they bought it back around 2010, 2011, that's actually not that much. People often do around 10,000 kilometers a year. That might be a basic average for how much a car might be driven. So 70,000 in 10 years, it's a little bit less, so it's still, a fairly new car in fairly good shape.
Maybe just around the city rather than long journeys.
Exactly. So when we talk about the shade of something, here we're talking about a color, but the difference of that kind of color. I can talk about blue, and everyone can think of blue. But if I say light blue, like a beautiful summer sky, or dark blue, like a man's business suit, that kind of dark blue, or like a police officer might wear that color blue, these are different shades of blue, all right? So we can talk about light green or dark green, a light brown or a dark brown. These are different shades. Sometimes those shades have different names, right? Beige is kind of a light brown color, but we often can just use light, dark or something like that, to talk about how much white or how much black you might mix into that color if you're using paints. Those are given to give you different shades.
Okay, so obviously the condition of the car is probably more important to someone buying it than the color, especially it's a second-hand or used car. So Ross writes, I am the only owner and have taken good care of the car. So he's saying, I've looked after it. That means he's taken it to the mechanic, the garage, when he needs to get it serviced. You know, he hasn't driven it through the countryside and messed it up. You know, he's looked after this vehicle. So even though it's maybe 10 years old, it still looks and feels pretty new.
Okay, and here's another good bit of information. The car has never been in a crash. So he's never hit the car violently against something. He's never smashed the car, had a terribly big accident, because a crash would be a big violent collision. That's basically what a crash is. When you hear a crash, that means you hear the sound of, two cars hitting each other or something like that. If there's a big crash, the police, the ambulances might be involved. People might be badly hurt in a crash. We can also use it in a verb, to use it as a verb, right? Two cars crash into each other. That means they're moving quickly and they hit each other. This is probably an accident of some kind, and cars, of course, can be damaged and people can be hurt or even killed in a crash. So his car, though, no crashes, nothing major's happened. He might have scratched it against a wall or something one time, but nothing big at all. The car is in really good condition. But if you have a crash, it won't be. For example, the race car caught fire right after the crash. Luckily, the driver escaped. Wow, that car was probably moving very fast when it had a crash.
Okay, so what else does Ross say about the car? The crash will cover a lot of the outside work as well as some of the internal bits. He also adds the AC works well.
Oh, that's important here.
Air conditioner. The car has an air conditioner, it has air conditioning, and it works well. There are no problems with it, so nothing to worry about there.
Okay, and then he also says something that's useful if you're thinking about the cost of the car after you buy it. The car has great fuel efficiency. It gets around 20 kilometers per liter of gas. So that's good to know because you buy the car, but then you're going to have to keep spending money on the car to use it in the future. Okay, so when we talk about fuel efficiency, we're basically talking about how much fuel the car uses to go a certain distance. And fuel is the thing that's going to cost you money as you keep using your car or your motorcycle or scooter or something like that. Fuel, when we're talking about a car, is also called gas or petrol. When you go to that special store that's on the corner with the big blue sign and you pull in there and they put that thing in your car and they fill it up with that kind of liquid that smells quite bad, that's the fuel that they're putting in your car. That's the food, the fuel, the juice that your engine burns to make it turn, to give it power, to make the wheels roll, and to carry you places. So when we're talking about fuel efficiency, we're basically talking about how much fuel it has to burn to go certain distances. This one, it said, is 1 liter will give you 20 kilometers. Newer cars might give you 30 or 40 kilometers, but a sports car or a race car might give you much less than that because they burn gas a lot faster. For example, a lot of the fuel in an airplane is carried in its wings. Yeah, they burn gas just like cars do, a different kind of gas, but airplanes carry their fuel in the wings. In your car, it's in a tank, usually at the back or underneath the car. So here we're talking about the fuel efficiency of the car because the car works by using fuel, right? And better fuel efficiency means you have to put less fuel into the car. That saves you money.
Exactly. Efficiency is basically a measure of how well something works in terms of what sort of effort, or in this case fuel, you need to put in. If something has good efficiency, it works without a waste of energy or a waste of time. If something is inefficient, to use an adjective form, then you need to either put in a lot of gas to move the car or it takes longer to get something done. We could talk about people having pretty good good work efficiency? Do they work quickly and finish their jobs on time, or do they kind of take a long time to get stuff done? Here's another example. Food delivery apps like Uber Eats let people get meals delivered with great efficiency. Just a few minutes on a phone and, 30 minutes later the food's at your door.
That's right. You don't have to go anywhere and you don't even have to pick up the phone and talk to someone. And a liter, this is a measurement of liquid. When we're talking about fuel, of course, the price that you often see put up outside the gas station, that will be how much 1 liter will cost. Often if you buy one of those big bottles of 7-Up or something, that might be a liter or maybe 2 liters for the bigger ones. Basically, it's 1,000 mLs. The ml is milliliter or thousandth of a liter. So 1 liter would be 1 L, that would be liter, and we also say it's 1,000 milliliter. I think a liter is basically 1 kilogram of water.
If it's water, yes, because it's the same density.
There you go.
That's the standard. Okay, so that's the fuel and the gas kind of efficiency. What else do we see about the car? Ross says the tires were changed 2,000 kilometers ago, so they're basically new.
Okay.
So the tires, of course, it's the rubber covering on the wheels. Right. So we want to know, how new are they? Are they in good condition? Well, he had them changed only around 2,000 kilometers ago.
Okay.
To be honest, I have no idea how many kilometers you get per tire.
More than 2,000.
Obviously. But so these are basically new, so that's another good point for selling the car.
Yeah,
I suppose if they weren't that new, he maybe would have got new ones before selling it.
Yes, you should definitely do that because new tires are much safer than old tires. They'll also make the fuel efficiency of the car better. So yeah, as long as he wasn't racing the car or recreating scenes from the Fast and Furious movies, having new tires is something you'll definitely expect to find on any kind of car, and certainly when you're going to buy secondhand. Now he kind of explains, if this car is so good, I might be thinking as I read this ad, if this car is so good, why is this person selling this car, right? It works well, it's never had a crash, new tires, it looks nice. Well, he gets into that. He says, the reason I am selling this car is to buy a new and bigger car for my family. Says I as I read this ad. That's why. It's not because the car has a hidden problem that he's trying to get rid of. No, it just doesn't work for his life now. He wants to get a bigger one.
Yep, and a bit more detail in the next sentence. This car is great. Of course, he's going to say that in an ad, but it's just a bit too small for our family needs. Again, look at the language, just a bit. So that means it's only a little thing that's making him sell it. Again, he's really trying to make this car seem attractive.
There you go. And then he kind of has an idea of who it would be attractive to, or he gives this suggestion to kind of, get the attention of anyone like that out there who's reading it. It would be perfect, he writes, for a couple or a single person who needs reliable transportation. So if you're a young married couple without, kids yet, if you're a single person who needs a good, reliable car to get to work and back every day, if you're this kind of person, if you're this in the market for this kind of car, this might be perfect for you. And certainly if you're buying a car of any kind, a new car, a used car, if you're buying a motorcycle, a scooter, if you're buying a computer, if you're buying almost any kind of machine, especially, you want it to be reliable. This adjective reliable basically means something that will work when you need it to work. You can depend on it, you can count on it, you can trust it. When you turn the key, the engine will start. When you press the button, the computer will come on. When you put your toast in and you have 5 minutes to eat breakfast, your toast will be made in 3 minutes. That kind of thing. It's not going to break. It's not going to need to be repaired all the time. It won't be good for 3 months and then you'll have to buy another one or something like that. No, if it's reliable, it's always going to work when you need it to work. It won't let you down. For example, I'm looking for a pair of reliable shoes that I can wear when I'm hiking. Not the kind of shoes that will start to leak water when it rains or will fall apart after 6 months. Those aren't reliable. So we're getting near the end of the ad, and he's about to kind of wrap it up with the final sales pitch.
Yep, he says, this car has never failed me or broken down, so I have high confidence in selling it to you. So he says his car has never failed him. The word fail is a verb and it means to not work, to not meet your expectations. If his car had failed him, maybe when he tried to start it in the morning it didn't work, or he stopped at a light and then he tried to move forward and the car broke down. That would fail him. The car would fail him there. But he's saying the car didn't fail him. It always did what he wanted it to do. It always met his expectations. Here's another example sentence. John's legs were weak from all the hiking, so when he tried to stand up, his legs failed him and he fell to the floor. Obviously, they were weak, they weren't strong enough, so they didn't do what they should have done and support him, and he just fell over.
When something breaks down, if it's a machine, especially a motor, that kind of thing, it breaks down. So if you're driving down the road and suddenly steam or smoke starts pouring out of the front of your car, oh my gosh, the engine's broken down. It can break down in other ways too. Parts of your car, the air conditioner might break down. The car still drives, but you're hot all the time inside it. So basically, when a machine stops working because of some kind of mechanical problem inside the machine, it breaks down. If you crash your car into a tree, you wouldn't really say the car broke down. No, you crashed it into a tree. But if you just drive along normally and something inside the car fails, then the car has broken down.
Okay, and Ross finishes by saying, if interested, call Ross Richardson at 555-42069. So there's his contact information. Maybe there's an email somewhere as well, but at least there's a phone number. So that's the ad. Is that the sort of thing that would interest you? What would interest us? Let's talk about that in our For You Chat question.
For You Chat.
The question is, what features would you want for your own car and why?
Oh, okay. So features here are the things about the car that might be more attractive to you, all right? It might, depending on how you would use the car.
Self-driving.
Self-driving?
I haven't driven in like 15 years. I'm probably not safe. I want the car to drive itself.
So you want an AI driverless car?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't want to do the work.
Interesting, but they don't have those yet, do they?
Wait until they do.
Okay.
They're in development. Tesla and all of that.
5
Google.
years, 10 years from now, they probably will have them. Let's see. Something comfortable, I think. Quiet.
Okay.
A good stereo, a good sound system so I can hear the music well. I think that would be important. I don't really care if it's like fast or anything like that. Safe.
That's pretty important.
Kind of boring, actually, when I think about it. But I do want a good stereo. I want a good sound system because I love to listen to music while I'm driving. That would be a feature that might be more important to me because I'm a big music fan. And a GPS.
Yeah.
A good little GPS computer that speaks English.
What about you guys? What would you want in your dream car? Have a talk about it, see what you come up with. But that's all the time we have. Thanks for watching us. For English for You, I'm Pat.
And I'm Mike.
Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Vocabulary Review. Automatic. As John was leaving the store, he didn't have to open the door for himself because it was automatic. Crash. I saw a scooter crash today, and I called the hospital for help immediately. Fuel. Jacob's car stopped on his way to work because there was not enough fuel in it. Efficiency. Wind energy efficiency has increased with the growth of new technology in the field. Reliable. Ned is a reliable worker who always comes in early and rarely takes any sick days. Fail. Timothy failed his group members by not completing his part of the project on time.
智慧小补帖
transmission, shade, leader.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net